Hello, my name is Mark Files, and I work with CoosBayNorthBend Productions. And normally I'm behind the scenes, but here's our musician, Dano.
Hey.
He has volunteered to do our music for the our program tonight on the Art Museum in Coos Bay. And we're so thankful.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Happy to do it.
So he'll be our music all the way through. Emily Ashworth will be our host, and we hope you have a wonderful time. You know, CoosBayNorthBend Productions is also associated with CoosBayNorthBend.com. So if you have some information, if you want to know about things that are happening in the art world, then you can just go to CoosBayNorthBend.com, scroll down, and there we'll be. You'll find us either under art, under fun, or maybe just under having a good time.
That's right.
Whatever we're doing. And so we're really happy, and we want to thank Dano so much for volunteering. You know, he's giving his music for this program. Every artist, every person here is volunteer. So when you're seeing us here on Channel 98, it's local people doing local things. Just because we're great doesn't mean that we're not local.
That's right.
Thank you. You'll hear many different tunes here with him. It's going to be some interesting music.
Listen to it, folks. It's nothing but love here.
Amen.
Hi, we're here this morning at the Coos Art Museum speaking with Pat Snyder, retired teacher. Marshfield High School art teacher for...
Started in 1968.
And retired...
in 1998, so that gives me 30 years here.
Right.
In Coos Bay, and have taught many generations of young artists. And now I'm going to pay back my time at the Art Museum, and so I've decided to volunteer here so I can continue to meet people and students and parents and keep the arts lively in Coos Bay. And Emily has come here to reintroduce everyone to the museums of Oregon, and this, of course, this being one of them. What is it? One of what?
Oh, one of many, many, many.
But isn't there only about 6 of them in Oregon?
No,
and this is the only one of 6 art museums here?
No.
Oh.
To begin with, Coos Art Museum is the 3rd oldest art museum in the state of Oregon. There are all kinds of museums, and there are many, many museums. And as a matter of fact, as I see here on your T-shirt, last year 3.4 million people visited an Oregon museum, one of the many. And the question is, did you visit a museum? And if you didn't, why not? And let's get there, because museums are wonderful places. Turn around a minute. We'll show everybody just how many museums there are in the state of Oregon. We have all of these are Oregon museums. So we have a lot of them. And right here in our area, we have, let's see, I didn't memorize these. On the coast, we have Astoria, we have Brookings, Cannon Beach, Coos Bay, Florence, Garibaldi, Gold Beach, Lincoln City, Myrtle Point, Newport, North Bend, Port Orford, Reedsport, Seaside, Tillamook, Toledo, Walport, and I know we have a museum over in Coquille, and there's one in Bandon. Also, we have, and probably a few that are not on this list. So we have loads and loads and loads of museums, in the state of Oregon, and the Coos Art Museum is the crown jewel of the south coast of Oregon. It is a wonderful museum. It's located in downtown Coos Bay in the Art Deco building that was one time the post office. It's a beautiful, beautiful facility.
And Emily, did you know that being a volunteer here and at the reception desk, I get to meet people not only from the area, but they come in from throughout the state and the United States and the world.
And
we got people going up to the Prefontaine room, the memorial room, and they are from all over the world. It's surprising. I didn't realize he had such an effect on international.
Well, you know,
people.
there will be a really big meet in Eugene this summer.
Ooh, that's right.
And we expect to have many, many, many people from that meet coming down here to pay homage to.
This is throughout the United. This is a national.
Yes,
track thing, isn't it?
Oh, it'll be wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Well, thank you very much. Is there anything else you'd like to say? I would just like to say that we have volunteers at this museum. We always need more volunteers at this museum.
Exactly.
And
all museums need volunteers.
We make community just one little deed at a time. And you can do your good little deed. If you'd like to volunteer at the museum, just call the museum and give them your name, and
or just visit and donate.
Visit.
If you put in $1, that goes a long way for us.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, get down to the museum. You'll love it. It's good. It's a wonderful place.
And it's a nonprofit.
Nonprofit, absolutely. If we ever made a profit, we'd have to pay taxes on it. Probably. It is nonprofit.
It's nonprofit, right.
And we really need volunteers, and we need you. If you would like to volunteer and spend a little time in this wonderful cultural place, you just get right down here. It's not only cultural, it's a lot of fun. Hi, I'm speaking here with Shirley Gillum, a board member of the Coos Art Museum, and she's going to be our guide today and kind of direct us through the museum. Shirley, how long have you been a member of the board?
Just about a year. My first experience was doing the live auction last year at the benefit, and after that I became a board member, and I'm really enjoying my tenure on the board, and I'm really excited about showing everybody the museum today. So,
well, I understand that you're an auctioneer, or an auctioneer. Tell us a little bit about that. How did you become an auctioneer, and what kind of auctioneering do you do?
Okay, well, I won't go into the long details, but I primarily do benefit auctions. I am a benefit auctioneer specialist, and I've been doing that about a year and a half, and I started out doing estate auctions, and my friend Emily here actually saw my very first one and said, "You're going to come and do the one for the museum," and that was the beginning of the benefit auction little detour, but I'm enjoying the detour. It's a wonderful thing to be able to work with so many different organizations, primarily the museum, though. So, yeah.
Well, we just volunteered you right into a board position, didn't we?
I would say so. Yeah, that's the way that worked.
Well, you know, I was just speaking with Pat Snyder about volunteers. He's been volunteering for 8 years.
Wow.
Right here at the front desk. What about the board? Do you think we need volunteers? What kind of volunteers could we use?
Well, our board has actually gotten a little bit smaller. We'd like to enliven it. We'd like to enlarge it. So we are definitely on the lookout for people who are interested in becoming board members. And as far as volunteers, yes, we love volunteers. We try to take our best care of them. We honor them. We acknowledge them. And if you're interested, just come on down, because we have a job for you. If you love art and you love to learn about art, this is the place for you to be.
Well, one thing that I've learned in my long lifetime here is that a volunteer can do no wrong. Shirley, I'd like to see the rental sales gallery. Could you show us that?
Absolutely. Shall we just walk over here?
Sure.
So we are now in the rental sales gallery, and Liv Drehos, the manager of the gallery, is going to be showing us around and talking to us a little bit about what the rental sales gallery is and how you can be involved.
Actually, the rental sales gallery offers members rentals. Anyone in the community may buy a piece of art from the rental sales gallery, but membership is required to rent. And we have all different types of art. We have watercolors, we have oils, we have contemporary, marine scenes, landscapes, in all different categories. So there's really something for everyone. And it's really a very good bargain. And I think that if you are interested at all in art, and it's all original art, many of our local artists right here in our community have pieces in here. And we also have artists from up and down the coast and from a little farther away, some of quite international renown, because we have several shows that repeat here, and oftentimes we'll draw our pieces from the people that show actually in the museum.
That's great, Liv. So is it just available for individuals, or can businesses rent as well?
Businesses can rent, individuals can rent. The only one thing is you need to be a member of the museum.
Okay, all right. Well, great. Let's see. Would you like to show some of these paintings? We can just bring the camera right over here so you can describe these paintings.
This is a piece by Julie Spence, a local artist for Coos Bay, a watercolor. Chris Keelock-Williams is the artist on this painting, and it's again a watercolor. She's a person who was local and now lives in Portland. There's another landscape watercolor painting and a more contemporary piece in oil. For instance, this is a more contemporary piece by Earl Hamilton. If you notice, he has quite vivid colors. We also have paintings that have more subtle things, as in this landscape. So it just depends. There really is an art piece for you, for your business, or for your home. In this painting, Chris Keelock-Williams, her emphasis is on design, and you can see that in these crisp, clean edges. And also you can see how much she really, really likes color. There's quite a few colors in here, and you can tell where her center of interest is on this because of the differences in the values here, the high contrast areas where it's very, very light against that very, very dark area. And I think that's really quite a lovely contemporary piece. Julie Spence has a little more subtle approach. You can see that she has a more controlled color approach where she just stays in a kind of a palette of the cool colors, so it feels very restful to you. And over 200 works are available to you. We have them on a slideshow, so they're easily viewed when you come in to make your choice.
Go.
This is part of the original piece of the museum. It's actually an old vault that was put in here as part of the old post office. And it doesn't completely close because we don't want anybody to get locked in there. But the building is just remarkable. You really need to do yourself, give yourself a treat and come down and just see the building. It's a work of art, just this old style. We are very, very fortunate to have this architecture in our community.
Hi, we're going upstairs now to the atrium to take a look at the Watercolor of Oregon show, and we'll meet you up in the atrium. Hi, we're here with Stephen Brooks in the atrium of the Coos Art Museum, and Stephen, tell us a little bit about this show that you're hanging.
The show that's currently in the Atrium Gallery, you also call it the Richter Gallery, is from the Oregon Watercolor Society, and it's a traveling exhibition of their 20 top winners from this year's competition. And it's a real selection of the kind of watercolor painting that's taking place in the state.
Wow, that's exciting. Now, how does this travel lots of places or just in Oregon?
It travels several places within Oregon, and I believe we're the last venue for this exhibition this year. This is 2007's
Well,
competition.
it is December. They'd have a tough time getting it off our
You're
walls
right.
and someplace else. So I guess this is the end of the road for this show. So if you're interested in seeing this particular show, this is the last time it will be shown in Oregon. It's a beautiful show, vibrant, wonderful works. The 20 best of the competition for the Oregon Watercolor Society, and it's a grand show, and it'll be part of the show that we have here during the month of December and January. Anything you'd like to say, Stephen, about the museum? Stephen also is the director of the Coos Art Museum. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Emily.
I was remiss in that. Anything you'd like to say about the museum?
I think at the museum here, we're really trying to present a variety of works, and we're trying to present things that add to the local artists and to the local community. We want to present shows that are interesting, colorful, like this show is.
Absolutely.
And things that stimulate the local artists to work even harder in doing what they do.
Well, you know, you're new to the community. You're here during the worst rain of the year. How do you feel?
I love the rain.
You love the rain. Well, I know one thing. Stephen has a rescue greyhound dog by the name of Brindle Pup.
Yeah, Midge.
Midge. Oh, okay, Midge. And he likes to walk out on the beach with her. I, too, have a puppy. Yeah. Well, he's not a puppy. He's 4 years old. His name's Buddy. And he's a little Shih Tzu. Mm-hmm. And he's a wonderful dog. I know you love your dog. I love my dog. And I bet there are a billion people out there watching this that love their dogs and their cats and their ferrets and their parrots. And, you know, what's not to love about animals? They're wonderful. Well, thank you, Stephen. Certainly. I appreciate this.
Certainly.
You know, I understand you have the Mabel Hansen Gallery under construction. Tell us a little about that project.
That is true. We are in a major, for us, what is a major renovation. We've taken two spaces within the old post office building, and we've taken the wall down between them, and we're going to refinish this into a modern, climatically controlled gallery. The climate control is important because it allows this museum to move up a notch so that we can bring in shows that are more valuable, that have restrictions on what sort of places they can be housed, and we'll be able to do things now that we were never able to do in the past. Even more importantly, we'll be able to exhibit some of our own works that need the climate controls that we're going to establish in the Mabel Hansen Gallery.
Wow, and what's this costing?
It's costing very close to $100,000.
Wow.
which is a lot for this museum, but it's an important step for us to really upgrade what we're doing.
Well, and we are working with a lot of grant monies that MJ Kariba brought to this project. We're also gathering more monies for this project, and It's a major project for us.
It is for us, yes.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Let's take a look. Maybe
Let's do
Shirley
that.
would show us the way.
We're just going to take a brief tour and see some of the works that come with the Oregon Watercolor Society Traveling Exhibition. And I thought this was actually a very good place to start because of the imagery. Some people may not know that one of the biggest exhibitions ever hosted at the Coos Art Museum was the Harley-Davidson Design Exhibition, which was several years ago and brought a very large group of people into the Coos Art Museum. We can continue along the wall. And one thing about watercolors is watercolor paintings allow you to achieve really vivid colors because the light actually goes through the pigment, hits the paper behind, and then comes back out. And it gives the transparent watercolors this quality of light that only transparent watercolors can achieve. And you can see that not only in the motorcycles, but in these paintings as well, how vivid that orange is. Is an orange that you cannot achieve with an oil paint just because of the nature of the media. And the watercolor allows you to do that. Typical also of watercolors, the white is the plain paper behind just showing through, and that's how you work with white in watercolor normally. We'll go by here. The nice thing about this exhibition is you can see a variety of ways that watercolor can be used, from quite realistic works to something that's really very abstract. I mean, you can recognize what this is, but the artist is working primarily with the geometric forms, with the silhouettes of all this geometricity to create her effect, his effect. And again, the vivid colors, the bright lime greens contrasted with the orange, this is one of the things that watercolors allows you to do. Let's move on down the wall a little bit further. And we see a work here that I find coloristically interesting. The person is working with near complements with the oranges and the purples. Again, very vivid colors, but also an interest in, sort of an antique interest in the mechanism, which seems to become something coming through in arts quite a bit. And if you saw in the show below us, our competition, the Bay Area Artist Competition, similar themes, the gears come through, the mechanics, and it seems to be something very popular in the arts, recent art. We're now entering the area for the Mabel Hansen renovation. Again, I want to stress how important this is for the museum and what we're trying to achieve here. What we want to do is build a modern exhibition space within the historic building without destroying the wonderful historic features of the building. So we're trying to do two things at once, and this is very important to us. The post office here is a lovely Art Deco building from 1936. It is a historic building, and we're trying to take advantage of the historical nature of the building and the beautiful design that was originally here from the 1930s. Let's enter into the room and we'll take a look at where the Mabel Hansen Gallery stands currently.
Okay, you go first. I'll go second. Come on, Shirley, you're next. Okay.
Okay. Again, what is taking place in the room currently is we have taken down the wall between two spaces to create one room out of two, so we're moving from a gallery which was really too small into one that will enable us to produce shows of a size and quality that are commensurate with what we want to do.
Wow.
We also want to do some things to control the climate in the room and the light. In order to control the light, we'll be sealing the windows over, but we will not take the windows out because we want to keep them here as part of the original structure, and it will look from the outside no different. But we'll seal them over, and then we'll hang art along the entire wall. Sealing the windows is important because it cuts down the ultraviolet light, which is so damaging to artworks. If you know about the kind of damage that ultraviolet light will do, it actually fades work, especially watercolors and printmaking. And the Coos Art Museum's premier collection is of printmaking from the 1950s and 1960s and 70s by major artists such as Red Grooms and Alexander Calder and Larry Rivers and a number of other, Roy Lichtenstein, a number of very important artists that we happen to have at the museum here. So one of the
I'm interested, Stephen, how are we going to hang things in this gallery? It's kind of a mess right now, but I'm sure that at the point of presentation, it's going to be beautiful.
It is a mess right now, but of course everything will be cleaned up for the opening. But what we do have here are so many different sorts of surfaces. We have several different kinds of walls. We have the blocking of the windows. So we decided rather than nail into a wall, which is one way of hanging artwork, that we're going to have another system of hanging, and that's what I have right here. And I can kind of show how it works.
How would that work?
We're going to be installing a track, and actually, in order to preserve the traditional and the original Art Deco design of the building, we'll be reinstalling the wooden picture rail that was here originally, and we'll have this metal track underneath the wooden track, and then we have wires that will drop down. Excuse me. It can be slid anywhere along the wall, and with a twist they lock in, and then you can adjust the height of the painting with this clip.
Voila!
So we can hang over any surfaces, and it will give us tremendous freedom on how we work in the gallery.
And never get a hole in the wall.
That's correct.
Don't people just love it when the walls don't get messed up?
That's right. And we have plenty of holes now, which we'll need to patch.
Volunteers, volunteers, volunteers. We could use them. Well, probably not in this room.
Probably not in this room. Not yet, anyway.
Not yet, anyway. But we always need volunteers at the museum. Stephen, what are the plans for floors in here? What are you going to do with that?
Actually, the original building from 1936 had beautiful hardwood floors, and you can see a section here of what the refinishing is. This flooring is actually beneath the entire room of the Mabel Henson Gallery. All we need to do is clean off the glue and the tar that was laid down to put the tiles from 1950 on the floor here. And it will come up just like this, a beautiful hardwood floor, which is the museum standard for what you want for flooring in a museum. Actually, this building has a number of wonderful features. There is wooden mop boards throughout each room. It has a wooden chair rail, wooden picture rail, the kind of detailing that you could not get today if you wanted it. You couldn't afford to do it. Also, lovely things, terrazzo flooring, marble mopboard out in the corridor. Just unbelievably beautiful things. Italian marble, veined floorboards.
What?
Our building has a number of outstanding features, such as this beautiful terrazzo floor that was installed in 1936, and marble along the floorboards, Italian veined marble. Beautiful. Again, the kind of thing you just cannot find today in new construction.
Hi, I'm here with Del Smith, the director of the Permanent Collection. And Del, tell us a little bit about this room, about the Permanent Collection, about the mission of the Permanent Collection. What do you do here?
This is where the art is kept. It is a room that has air conditioning and humidity control and heat. It must stay at a rather level degree. You don't want a lot of fluctuation in the temperature or the humidity surrounding art. Now, the art belongs to the city of Coos Bay. They own the building, and they own the permanent collection, and they pay the insurance on the collection. And we manage it for them. And we bring out the art we want to use in the museum. I hang art in City Hall in some of their offices for them. And
It has gone, some of it, to the Coos County Fairgrounds Museum in Myrtle Point. So the art moves around. It doesn't just stay in here. But this is like a library. Every piece of art has a number on it, and it's all in my computer. It's cross-referenced in many ways so that we can look it up by medium. If you want to know how many watercolors we have, it's just a matter of going through the computer and asking it to print out all the watercolors. However, the watercolors are not all stored together. We started out thinking we would put all the oil paintings together and all the watercolors together. However, it's a matter of size. Medium doesn't fit into this at all. You can have a very large watercolor and a very small oil painting. You don't put them in the same bin. So our very large bins are here at this end. From 1 through 11 are very deep bins. And then as you see how the wall gets set back, those are the smaller bins. Then the sculpture is on the wall down here. We're in a little bit of a mix-up right now because they're photographing the permanent collection. And the paintings you see all around the sides are from the atrium. We've just taken a show down, and they haven't been put back in the bins yet. So all the things in front of the sculpture bins are usually against the wall down here by the lights. So we've blocked off some of the sculpture bins. Then this door will be closed off and sealed. That is the door going into the new gallery that you were in before.
Let me ask you about this floor here. Is this the original floor that Stephen was talking about? The original floor from the time when this was the post office?
Yes, but the post office and all their great intentions covered it with tile. Square gray tile, and we took it off, and here it was.
Isn't that wonderful? They protected the wood.
They protected the wood for us, and we're very pleased because all nice museums and galleries have wood floors.
Right.
That's what you really want, and it's very expensive to install. And there is no way we could have put a wood floor in there, but we have it. It's underneath all that black that you saw.
Well, Del, tell
room.
me something. How did you get all this art? Where did it come from?
A lot of it has been purchased. A lot is donated. Museums throughout the world count on donations for art. Even the biggest museums, the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City gets huge donations. People collect art. They collect 50 paintings, for instance, and they'll give the entire collection to the museum. And so that increases their holding a lot. We don't get that large a donation, but sometimes we get 2 or 3 paintings by one person. These 2 sculptures are from Douglas Purdy, who is a little bit north of Gold Beach. They're worth quite a bit, and they were donated to us, and 2 more are coming still that are outside sculptures, but we have to get them here. They're not here yet. So over the years, things come to us. Now, I run the acquisition committee, and the donations first go through the acquisition committee. If the committee likes the donation and thinks that it would fit into the permanent collection, it is then taken to the board, along with the artist resume, which I have. And then if the board also, a majority agrees on it, it's put into the permanent collection.
Well, can local people donate art if
Local people do.
I see.
Yeah, right.
So are we always looking for more art for this collection?
We are, but we're looking for the right kind of art to fit into the collection that is already here. We have about 500 pieces. Now, that's not huge in terms of many museums, but for a small town like this, that's a pretty good size. And we have to be careful, though, that it fits. Some things, painted gourds from Oceania, do not fit what we want. We have a great number of prints from the Pacific Northwest artists. That is probably our strongest suit. And so the acquisition committee really screens the art before it's put into the museum, and it's a good system. The acquisition committee is one group of people, and the board is a different group of people. So 2 different types of people look at the art before it's put into the collection. And by being careful of what we put into the collection, protects the value of what we already have.
I see. Del, tell me, does this art ever travel to other museums?
Not yet, it hasn't. It's a matter of insurance. It's a matter of shipping. We don't have much money. These flat file storage bins over here are pieces of art that are not in frames, and our big desire is to get everything framed. We have things that are framed in acid materials that is not good. It makes the painting deteriorate over the years, or the print. And we have about 50 things that still need to be reframed.
Let me ask you, at one point I thought the museum had some sort of a adopt a painting program.
Adopt an artwork. We do.
How does that work?
We now have 104 paintings that have been adopted over about a 6-year period. And I devised this program. We offered the opportunity to people to adopt something, which means pay to have it framed properly in archival materials, and then their name will be associated with the painting. And when it goes on the wall, it will be also there. Now, I can show you a painting.
Oh,
Got the turn.
We'd love to see that.
All right, here's one. This is by Will Barnett. Now I'm going to turn it over. Here are the numbers. This is the registration number of the painting in 2 places on it. Here's the artist's name, the title, the medium, and the bin it goes in. This is the number of the painting. But here is the Adopt an Artwork program. And here is the title of the painting, the artist, the medium, and it was adopted by Mary Lee Flanagan and friends as a memorial to her husband, Roger Flanagan.
Wow.
And that will go on a separate label. The first label will have the title of the painting and the artist and when it was done, and the second label will say that this was part of the Adopt an Artwork program. So we have 104 paintings that are now in proper material, archival materials. There are about 50 more that still need to be adopted.
That means they'll last for a long time.
Oh, yes. When you have cardboard on the back of paintings or a mat that's not archival, eventually the acid in that paper eats into the back of the painting and you start seeing brown spots on the painting.
I
And
see.
it really destroys the painting.
Well, this has been very interesting, and we would like anybody who would like to adopt a piece of art to contact Dell Smith here at the museum, and she could certainly get you right on task. And we're always happy to have participation from the community.
Well, what I do is take it to the framer and find out how much it'll cost, and then I tell the person what the cost will be. So they're not in the dark about what they're doing. But some people give them as birthday presents. It stays in the museum, but if you've got all you want at home, it's kind of nice to have a birthday present in the museum with your name on it.
And have your name on the wall when the piece is presented.
And you don't have to dust it.
And that you don't have to dust it. That is lovely. That's wonderful. Thank you, Dell. You've been very informative.
Thank you. These are 2 sculptures by Douglas Purdy, who is a bronze sculptor living a little bit north of Gold Beach. And he has a friend in Vancouver, Washington, who purchased one of everything he made. And the friend in Washington donated 4 sculptures to us. This is Goat, and this is called Duo, D-U-O. And then the 2 are still up in Vancouver, are outside pieces, which we have to build a box for each one. So the ears and tails, one's the llama family, and we don't want the ears and tails to come off. And then we're going up in a pickup to get them out of Washington, and they will be installed outside the museum. Very hopefully they will go outside the museum. But he's a very well-known sculptor. He's from Carmel, California. He's an older man now. He built his own house down north of Gold Beach, and the acquisition committee went down to visit the home and see the sculptures, because he has one of each himself. So we did not have to go to Vancouver to see them. We selected what we wanted down in Gold Beach.
Hi, we're here with Mike Holm. He's the preparator for the Coos Art Museum. What is a preparator and what does a preparator prepare?
Well, the preparator is a person that hangs shows. So my responsibility at this museum is I do all the maintenance work, and I take shows down and I prepare the walls and I build structures for shows. And this particular thing that we're doing right now is going to be a sandbox, which is going to be ready in about 10 minutes, so we could see it being developed. We're right in the process of hanging a show right now, so if you hear some noises in the background, that's what's going on.
Thank you. Ava Ritchie. Ava Ritchie is one of the 3 producers of this show. And Ava, tell us about this show. What is the title of this show and what's it all about?
This is the 2007 Bay Area Artists Association Regional Juried Exhibition. It's held every 2 years, the second year, here at the Coos Art Museum. And it gives artists from our area a chance to show their art in connection with the very local artists. We, 2 years ago, did 7 counties in this area, and this year we have expanded it to 18 counties to get a better feel for what more the state is doing.
Wow, that's wonderful. And how many pieces are you exhibiting?
We had 351 entries, and it's been juried down to 85 pieces.
Wow. Beautiful pieces, I might say. This looks like it's going to be a really good show. We're in the middle of putting it up. Maybe Susan can tell us a little about that.
That'd be great.
Susan, hi, I'm here with Susan Lehman. Susan is one of the producers of this particular show, and Susan is going to show us several pieces that got juried into the show and has already been hung. Susan, tell us a little about this piece. Who did it?
This is Pat Snyder's. He got 2 pieces juried into the show. It's a mixed media acrylic painting, and it has some inclusions with gold leaf. And he's done a whole series of boxcar inspired pieces. So he goes out and photographs some of the boxcars and the graffiti, and then he includes some of that. And then this one, I think it's based on Coos Bay. It has the longitude and latitude, and it has shore acres scenes here and here. And
I see Pacific up there. That must be Southern Pacific, off the Southern Pacific boxcar. Wow, that's a gorgeous piece. He does such interesting work. Did you have some other pieces that you wanted to show us?
this is kind of our industrial corner. We'll have a site-specific sculpture here, and then this is a digital photograph that's been printed on canvas. This year we opened the show up to photography. One of our jurors, Joan M., is a photographer, so we got, I think, 8 pieces in the show. And then this is one of Bernie Herr's watercolors. And this is, I think, called Off Track, and it shows a boxcar that's plunging into the ravine. So we have quite a variety of work.
It's a gorgeous piece. Tell us a little about this jewelry.
We have Lyon's necklace. It's kind of a sampler necklace. She shows all different techniques with different beads and silver. And then we have some sculptures in here, some small pieces. We have a small box that's called Pandora's Box. It's got 3 different metals, and it has sand and a little painting inside. It's pretty incredible.
And I might mention that this is a work in progress here because we still have all the numbers taped up so that the cards can be put in to designate the artist and the piece.
We're still finding places for a few of the small pieces, and we'll be hanging everything, and then the labels are the last thing. The 4 jurors come back on Wednesday to judge for the prizes. There's 4 honorable mentions, and then a 3rd, 2nd, and 1st overall.
So that this will be juried for 1st, 2nd, third place, and honorable mentions.
4 honorable mentions, 1 in each category. So
Wow.
we have painting, sculpture, 3-dimensional other than sculpture, and I don't know what the last one is.
It gets a little hairy after you've been sorting these things out for days and putting them together for months and jurying. I can imagine the jurying process itself must have been very, very, very cumbersome. 350 some odd pieces, and you got it down to 85.
We had 4 excellent jurors. I don't know if Ava told you, we had James Fritz, Fred Vassar. They're both from the college, junior college. And then we had Joan M., who is a photographer, and then Joyce Spicer Kinney, who has Triangle Square Gallery in Port Orford.
Wow, you did have quite that's a great group.
They worked really well together. They said they'd do it any time as long as they could work together again. They just made it a breeze.
And that's wonderful. Now, did they volunteer their labor, or are we paying these jurors? Or
well, there is a juror's fee, but it's just such a pittance that it's
practically volunteerism.
Yes, they just jumped at the chance when we approached them. They thought it'd be a wonderful job.
Making community one little deed at a time. That's what those jurors are doing, and that's what you're doing. Thank you so very much. You know, we're going to be back for the reception, and this will be totally hung, and the reception will be Friday, and we'll be here for the reception. So we've seen it this way, and we'll see it first rate at the reception. Thank you so much. I know you're ready for lunch.
Well, I'll see you then.
Okay. Hi, I'm here with David Castleberry, a local artist. David is very learned in the arts. In fact, he was the director of an art museum in Sequim, Washington prior to coming here, and he's done lots and lots with art. And people are very familiar with his art. It's very, very dramatic. We have a piece here. The location is Mingus Park, and it's just stellar. I'd like David to explain it to you.
Well, thanks, Emily. This piece is part of my series dealing with Mingus Park. I'm fascinated as we look at Mingus Park. The bridge in it has always been a focal point for me. It brings us through as we look at reflections on water. When I was doing this composition, it was the fall. I was thinking of those rich colors, those trees around the park, Emily.
Yeah.
And as they look back, the reflections, and also how abstractly the shadows fall. They begin to lead us through the composition, keep bringing us back into this area. These forms keep bringing us in. The sharpness corresponds to the softness of the swirls into the composition. And I really got into those swirls when I was in Europe and I saw the Impressionist paintings. I didn't like the little lines that they were using because visually they stopped the flow through the composition. So when I got back from Europe, I started experimenting and I came up with a swirl as a way to mix color, be able to lead the eye through the composition and yet slowly, so that you wouldn't see it as quickly as you would in a major Impressionist or a style. And so as I've worked with this style for a number of years, I have come back to this image. It is to me a very powerful image. The Japanese bridge in an American setting, it seems to me to be an exciting part about that sort of synergy that happens when cultures collide, when the imagery comes together, and we sort of become totality of human beings.
Absolutely, David. And I just love this. I love it, love it, love it. And you know, the spiral has so much energy in it. So that's, to me, very exciting. Very exciting piece, David. Thank you. And I think we'll just move along.
Okay, let's.
David, this is a beautiful piece by one of my favorite local artists, Nan Forsberg Hammonds. And it's so colorful. It's collage, and she's known for that. It's the her color is incredible. She uses a lot of gold. Tell us a little of what your impression of this is.
Well, my impression is it's exciting, it's vibrant, it's alive. Notice how she's using the cool colors and the hot colors. She's bringing these shapes into a form where they're very distinct. Look at this whale diving into this sort of fiery situation. Here we have a statue looking like the head of David suddenly coming out of a world. We have the gold, and notice the gold decoration. She's really involving a number of things, from decorative elements into this sort of passionate color that moves through the composition. It's really an exciting thing. Notice the figures, the glasses, these little pieces of iconography.
An elephant here.
That's right, wearing sort of looks like a shroud.
Right.
Yeah. So the excitement happening here, vitality. Her work has always had that beauty to it, and it's certainly fun to see this piece here tonight.
It's a beauty. Let's move on, David.
This piece is an exciting one, isn't it, Emily? Here we have the raven, that dark bird, over holding onto a bone, a real live bone with driftwood under it. The sort of sensitivity of having that bird grasping the bone, holding it tight, as though it's looking down further, as though it's seen a prey and is looking further into something. Really an exciting piece.
It's very, very dramatic, and the black, the white, the bleached wood, the bleached bone. I think it's an incredible piece. It's just beautiful, beautiful piece.
Right, and notice that the bird's mouth is open. That idea, you're not sure if it's going to peck, you're not sure if it's going to speak, you're not sure what it's going to do.
And the title of this is Nevermore.
Oh, yes, and certainly Edgar Allan Poe.
Absolutely. It's a beautiful piece, beautiful.
Okay, this is Pat Snyder. Pat Snyder is well known in our community for his work in the high school. He taught. He is doing some really exciting things. If you notice this piece, Pacifica, just look at what he's done here. He's brought Mingus Park into this composition. He has the rocks out at Shore Acres. He is really giving us that rusty feel of a barge, of the side of a ship, and then bringing us together with the words, the images themselves. It's an exciting part about seeing art in the area. Emily, I know that you have had a lot of experience talking with Pat. Maybe you'd share a little bit more about him.
Well, as a matter of fact, we interviewed Pat the other day. So Pat is on this he's on this film. So everybody will meet Pat at the very beginning. He did some museum for the Oregon museums for us. So this is part of his boxcar collection.
That's right.
And so this is the side of a boxcar, and you can see it was probably Southern Pacific. And I understand that he goes down and he films boxcars, etc., and then he translates them into these incredible pieces of art. Very, very, very fine artist, and just incredible work.
That's right, and certainly made such an impact in our community through education.
Oh, he taught for 30 years. Yes, he did, and he's volunteered here at the museum for the last 8 years, if you can believe that. What an incredible community builder.
Right, and an investment into our community.
Absolutely.
Well, right now we're by one of those exciting artists which has not only had an impact with their own art in our community, but has done so much in working with like Bandon and that area, developing the arts. Emily, you know Victoria very well. Why don't you tell us a little bit?
I do. Victoria Tierney is an incredible artist, and the thing that I love about her work is just simply the gradations, the sensitivity. She lives in Bandon. She does all the curating for the Bandon Hospital show, and she is just the real stimulus for art in Bandon, Oregon. Why don't you're learned about art? Explain this painting to us and show us the finer parts of it.
Well, actually, this painting is really exciting. It's called Within One. And if you notice how she has taken us, she has brought us to the center part of the painting. She's actually boxed us in on both sides, put this high energy border around. Then we're confronted with this interior that's mysterious. It has forms in it that are rather exciting. We notice these shapes and the lines that bring us through. And yet notice how she holds us within this by bringing us down into dark color so that it keeps us into this central field. She's really working here at holding our attention so that we can't escape from that deep meaning, and she brings us in to explore this area. You know, as we look at the shapes on paintings like this, we find ourselves trying to read in our own sort of stories. And that's part of what she's doing, is having us look within ourselves to translate what's going on in us with the painting. Interesting visual images, isn't it?
Very interesting and very exciting. Victoria may be here this evening, and I hope she will be. If she is, we will let her take a look at her own painting.
That sounds great.
Oh, David, thank you. Let's move on. Hi, last Wednesday, Mark and I were here filming, and I asked a question of you. I said, Mike, what kind of preparation does a preparator prepare? And you said, you showed us the box that you were in the process of, and I didn't quite understand it, but here we have the finished
The sandbox. The sandbox is here.
Well, tell us what you did here.
Well, we had these objects that were created, and the name of this piece is Watch Your Step. And these objects were to be placed on the floor, but we were afraid that someone might trip over these, so we created this box and incorporated the sand to hold the pieces in place. And not only that, but the pieces actually leave a pattern in the sand, as if the wind was blowing and moving them around. So this is the finished piece. The artist saw it this evening, and she was thrilled.
Well, I think that's a wonderful solution to a very complex problem. And I want you to know that I think that you did an excellent job of hanging this show. It's just absolutely beautiful. And I love the placement of all the statuary. It's just a really beautiful, beautiful thing. And you are quite a preparator.
Thank you very much.
And
it was a pleasure.
Coos Art Museum is very fortunate to have you, Mike. Not only is Mike a preparator, he's a wonderful artist besides.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm here with Pat Snyder. I spoke to Pat the other day. We had quite an interview. And Pat, I'm so pleased. You won first place.
Surprise, yes.
And it's with your
surprise. I mean,
your boxcar
well, there's so
series.
many good work around here. I didn't think it had a chance.
Listen, everything here is absolutely stellar. But David Castleberry already took us through and critiqued it, but you tell us a little bit about this piece. It's part of your boxcar series. Tell us about it.
Well, thanks. Being influenced by, we're doing a series on boxcars, and sometimes using the graffiti and other art on the side of the. I decided to, instead of taking the graffiti and that kind of art, is to put my own art on the side of the boxcar. And I also wanted to keep the meaning of it more local and also develop some new ways for me to paint, which I did a lot of layering of colors, what they call glazing, and that way you can get the richness. The richness in the colors is when you get layers and layers of different colors. And I saw, so I put in main features of the area, shore acres, then along shore acres there, the ocean. I also wanted to get the latitude and longitude of Coos Bay in here, so that's these numbers. And also just chalk in, like they do on the side of boxcars, different names of towns and such. I also made a journey down to the, is that Front Street or First Street or the?
Front Street.
Yeah. Machine places that work on the insides of tugboats and such. And then I noticed this huge gear in there, and I thought I'd incorporate that as part of the design, and I think it worked quite well.
Well, it's beautiful, and congratulations on winning first place in this, because this is quite a group of paintings. Yeah. We always knew you were top notch, and this is beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm here with David Castleberry, and he's going to talk a little bit about our second place winner. David, this is a marvelous piece. Tell us about it.
Okay, this is a wonderful piece. It's utilizing new technologies. This is a computer photograph digitally put onto the canvas. So what we have here is an image placed on and then printed on. So that's why you have this beautiful texturing going on in the background. You have the crispness of design. And this is what I'm sure the jurors are looking for, is this powerful image rising out of this background. The beautiful colors working through it. The structure that gives this whole thing a lift coming up, a sort of monumental quality. It's certainly an excellent design, excellent color and gradations. We have, look at these beautiful treatments coming through here. The metals and the wood.
Look at the color.
I know, isn't that great, Emily?
I just love the whole thing, and all the all the geometry involved in this. It's just a gorgeous piece. So it is a photograph that has been printed on
canvas.
On canvas.
Yeah, and then if you notice from the side, you can see it was stretched on the canvas.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. And who was the artist?
This is John Gavin. He is from Myrtle Creek, and this is called Chip Den.
Well, it's absolutely gorgeous. Thank you, David. And I'd like to take a look at the third place winner.
Which is Pandora's Box, a really beautiful sculpture. It's right over this way.
Okay.
Now,
in this case, we have several very interesting elements. We have a small sculpture, a very delicate little pin with lichens. We have a gorgeous necklace by Delia Lyons, and then we have Pandora's Box. This is by Carol Salisbury, and she won the third place award for the show. It's a wonderful example of fabrication using silver and other metals together, giving a sense of excitement. As we all know the story, Pandora's Box deals with elements that came out, but one thing that remained, and that was hope. And so as she looks at this piece, we see the compartmentalization going on. We see the beautiful sort of teardrop shapes that are repeated on the lid. And we also see that inside, that delicate little form. We see writing on the inside. It's a really beautiful example of textures and patterns forming together, working with an exterior shape, and the sand, which complements it so very well. If you notice also in that one compartment, you'll see that little jewel down there. It looks like a garnet. And it's just really beautiful with the letters and writing on the inside of it. Just a wonderful example of personalized sculpture on a scale that's intimate. We as a viewer are taken into this delicate world where we see beauty and yet with the strength of the metals. A really exciting time.
Thank you, David. I'm here with Arlene Tinsley. She is one of the producers of this show, and I interviewed the other two producers on Wednesday as they were placing things in place. But Arlene, I wanted to save you for tonight. I want to know how you feel about the overall total production.
I am so pleased with it. Now that it's all happened, I'm just delighted. The lighting, the pieces, the works, the attendance, I think it's thrilling. I'm really happy with it. Well, and it looks like everybody's enjoying themselves too.
It's a very, very exciting show. Lots and lots of excitement here. A lot of different kinds of art. This is a really lovely, lovely, lovely show.
The attendance was good, and another thing we noticed was that there are a lot of young people here. It's a lot of new art, new ideas, and the attendance is younger than normal.
Well, you know, if we want a future in art, we have to nurture youth.
I think so too. I think so too.
And that's all part of building community, just one little deed at a time. And I'm so glad to see them here.
Well, I think this is a very nourishing show.
It is. Well, listen, thank you for all your work in your production process, and thank you for being here, and thank you for being a part of this whole show.
Well, it's been a joy. It's been a joy, and so many people have worked so hard. But it's very gratifying.
I'm really pleased at the entire show, and a lot of work went into this. And Bay Area artists should be incredibly proud. And I know, speaking for the Coos Art Museum Board, we are so very proud of this show.
The art community is a very warm community, and yes, I hope they are proud.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, you have a nice evening.
Thank you.
Okay, this piece is one of those exciting wearable art pieces. The wearable art is something that we all are familiar with. Our shirts, our clothes, everything we wear is wearable. Here it's taken to a high new level. Look at the designs, the beautiful elements, the color. Notice how when the form is draped over the mannequin, it gives a sense of power to it. That's what's exciting about wearable art. Notice the careful decoration that goes on, the beading across the shoulders, the pattern of fabrics, the type of material used. Notice how that the beads will actually move when the wearer is wearing it. This is part of that exciting thing that we're seeing tonight in fiber. Fiber is one of those great things that brings us together because we're so familiar with it. We've had this wonderful experience all of our lives with fiber, and now we're seeing it used as an art form. This work is done by Elizabeth Brindy here in Coos Bay. She's part of a group of individuals that are using fiber to make statements not only about themselves, but about ideas and plans that they have. A truly exciting experience. Take time to look at it. It is truly wonderful.
Hi, I'm here with Brad Cohn, teacher at Marshfield High School. Also, brigade commander in Afghanistan. He's just back. And he's a friend of Mike Holmes. Mike Holmes did the sandbox for us, and Mike Holmes has a beautiful painting up here, and Brad's going to talk to us about it. Got anything to say for the troops, Brad?
God bless you and hurry home. And we think about you as the American public. We love you. Hurry home.
God bless America, and God bless our men and women in uniform. Oh, well, tell us a little bit about your friend here. This is Mike Holm.
Well, first I want to say Mike does a lot of things artistically. He's a very talented guy. Photographs, he does metal, wood, and he's always experimenting. He's putting things together. He's just a very eclectic, artistic guy, and he does great stuff.
Our kind of guy.
Our kind of guy.
And this is a beautiful piece. It looks to me like he's done some fish prints over his lady.
Sherloon.
I can't read it. I don't have my glasses.
It's Lady Sherloon, and actually Mike told me this is a boat that he took a picture of in Coos Bay, somewhere, probably down near Charleston, and then he superimposed these red cod in space above it. So I'm not sure what the symbology is there, but it's beautiful, and I really like it.
It's a gorgeous piece. Listen, thank you for your service to your country. Thank you for your service in the classroom. And Brad and I have been friends for many years.
We taught together.
We taught together.
My first year was your last year.
That's right, at Millicoma.
Millicoma.
Well, it's been 20 years.
A long time.
Long time. Well,
and I'm getting ready to retire.
Oh, if you live long enough, everybody gets to jump in the canoe and just paddle like mad. Well, listen, this is a wonderful way to finish up tonight, and it's so good that you're home.
Thank you.
I thought about you lots of times when you were gone, and I'm just so glad you're in one piece and you can smile.
Yeah, me too.
And life is very, very good.
Good. Well, thank you, Emily.
Thank you.
Take care.
You know, one of the exciting things that you have a possibility for using art is you can use any medium. Take a look at wire and clay and a number of things. We have photography here tonight. We have wood sculpture. We have metal. We have glass. We have everything that you can imagine you can put together in a creative way. This is one of the excitements about art today. You have an opportunity to be able to use media of any sort, from ink to paper to metal to wood, anything that will help and make your point across. You know, one of the communication things that we talk about in art is using what we have to be able to communicate to others. And today you have that possibility. You can use anything you can find in your house, you can find in your garage, you can find anywhere, and you can make art. And I hope that you will, because this is one of the great times of our lives when all media is fair game.
Hi, I'm here with Judith Hansen at the Coos Art Museum reception for the Bay Area Artist Regional Juried Show. Judith is the president of SWAC, which is Southwestern, which is no surprise to anybody here, I'm sure. Judith, what do you think of this show?
The array of work, two-dimensional, three-dimensional, really exceeds any show that I've seen here at the Coos Art Museum since I've arrived on the South Coast.
Wow, that's saying a great deal. That's wonderful.
We don't always have the different types of three-dimensional paper, metal, bronze, as well as just as I'm looking
photography,
photographer,
fiber,
and the three-dimensional fiber, the multimedia, as well as watercolor and acrylic, as well as oil. It's really an amazing array.
I think it's wonderful. Yes. So, have you anything to tell us about SWAC since you're here? Give us a quickie.
I can give you a little update on Southwestern. We spent a little bit of time this fall bringing in a consultant who helped evaluate our art collection on campus.
Wow.
And we're about ready. We haven't received that report yet, but we're about ready to receive that report. She came here to Coos Art Museum. She looked at our collection. She interviewed our students and our faculty and asked them what their favorite work was and what it meant to them. And it was a big surprise to us to find out how meaningful our Visions West and our Expressions West collection were to our students and to our faculty and staff, as well as our outdoor bronze artwork, metal artwork. And so it did two things. Number one, we know for a fact that we're going to be finding some special space for exhibiting our two-dimensional artwork. And number two, we're going to be adding to our outdoor sculpture garden because it's really meaningful for our students and faculty and staff.
How exciting. It's making community, and it's making community one little deed at a time. I'm so excited. That's not the only kind of outreach that you've had to the public.
Well, it certainly isn't.
You've been doing lots and lots of sounding and hearing and listening and gathering facts.
This is part of our new master planning process, and as you know, we are very, very fortunate here on the south coast of Oregon to provide the kind of environment that creates the creativity and the expression that our artists provide here for our citizens as well as for other people outside of the South Coast. So Southwestern Oregon Community College, as part of our community, needs to be a part of that expression and making sure that our artists are valued.
Well, I would like to say for the board of the Coos Art Museum, we certainly appreciate your support and your partnership with the museum in Expressions West.
Thank you.
It means a great deal to the museum, and it means a great deal to the community and to the artist community here.
Sure that Southwestern Oregon Community College values our association with not only the area artists, but also with the Coos Art Museum. Thank you very much.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you, family. Bye.
Hi, I'm here with Dominique Fougilard. She's from France and currently living in Port Orford. She is a ceramicist, and she has a piece here that she'd like to tell us about. First, tell us, Dominique, how did you end up in Port Orford?
I'm married, and I always liked America.
Look at the camera.
So now I'm living in Port Orford. I like Port Orford.
And so you like America, that's why you're here.
Yeah.
And you're living in Port Orford because you like Port Orford.
Exactly.
Tell us about this piece.
So this is a raku.
Come close.
It's a bottle and a raku fired. So that means that you take the piece out of the kiln at 30 degrees and you put it in sawdust and you make a reduction with a lot of smoke, and that gives the cracks and the color. And when you decide the color is done, you put everything in the fresh water and it stops the chemical reaction.
Wow, so
it's a lot of energy.
And this raku, this process comes from where? Japan?
Japan. It's originally from Japan.
It's a wonderful process, beautiful, and the color is incredible.
They're
and
unique from.
And you never know what you're going to get.
I'm trying to know what I'm. Yeah.
Well, all I can say is good luck. It's good that you're here.
Thank you very much.
And a big hug from America for you. And we're happy to have a French woman living in Port
thank you
Orford,
very much.
Dominique Bougelard.
Yeah.
You're good. I'm here with Paula Dow. Paula is a Coos Art Museum board member, and she is the chairman of the membership committee. I thought I'd take a minute or two to ask her some questions about membership. Paula, tell us a little bit about the levels of membership and about membership in general.
Well, I'd like to take this moment to just ask everyone to become a member of the Coos Art Museum. We have student memberships starting at only $15, and then we co-op with the Bay Area Artists Association that's meeting here tonight, and we have their membership at $20. Individual membership starts at $45 and goes on up to the benefactor. Of course, we would really love it if somebody would like to completely take us for a whole year, so send in those millions. We want to grow. We're lucky to be standing here in front of Avi Ritchie's beautiful Far and Away picture. Imagine a life and a world without any of this beautiful art. If we don't keep the Coos Art Museum open and functioning with members and volunteers, our children won't have this kind of beauty to see later.
I would like to just say, here, I second that. And I've always felt that you have to support the things that you appreciate, or they go away. They simply don't exist anymore. And membership is a very important component of the Coos Art Museum. We invite all of you to come and join us and enjoy membership in this fine museum. It's a very special place. It's the third oldest art museum in the state of Oregon. It has an absolutely outstanding collection of permanent collection, and it's a wonderful, wonderful place. We'd love to have you as a member. Just call up and check out membership, or see one of us. We'd love to sign you up.
That's 297-3901 for membership in the Coos Art Museum.
Oh, she is so on top of things. Wonderful. Paula, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Emily. Hi, this is Paula Dow. I'm a board member with the Coos Art Museum, and I'm standing here with our brand new executive director, Stephen Brooks. Would you say a few words for us about tonight?
Well, I'm just gratified by the large turnout tonight, and I think it's a show that many people will enjoy, and hopefully the variety will be appealing and attractive to everyone.
Thank you. Stephen, would you tell us a little bit about yourself? What other museums did you work at before you came here?
Well, I've been doing this kind of work since before the dinosaurs walked on the earth.
Oh,
so, but...
God, that was back when I started loving art.
Maybe. But I worked, long part of my career was in Seattle at the Fry Art Museum, but I've also worked in North Carolina, and I was an executive director of a museum in Illinois for about 3 years.
So see, folks, we've got a great guy here. Help the Coos Art Museum grow and fly, and let's make sure that there's art for our kids in the future.
And we encourage you to become museum members and support this wonderful institution.
Thank you.